Well, all right. Hello, 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 everyone. I'm Lisa Giroux. I'm your host for this series on Healthy, Happy Home, Healthy, Happy Life. I do believe that there is a direct correlation and link between our healthy home and our happy life. And I believe that it all begins within and within. So, welcome to my home. Welcome to my home. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to my kitchen. You already got the little preview of my pantry and my refrigerator. And, I want to talk to you about how we share our love, how we as women especially nourish and nurture ourselves and others, and the importance of it. I want to show you what's happening outside today, though. Woo-hoo! She a little blustery today. So I didn't get to go down to the river on my run today. I went out and did a little shoveling, and oh my goodness, you would not even know that I've been out. I was out there and shoveled it all down. So we're right in the midst of a wonderful mountain blizzard, and I'm delighted to be here speaking with you today about what I am so passionate about: self-care, self-nurturing, self-nourishment, and how when we start here, as everything begins within, we begin to, or continue to, really influence everyone else in our home. Come here. And so the importance of this inner transformation is really why we're here. Really, really. You all know my story. For those real quickly who don't, I was raised in an amazing family in the Midwest. And I learned from my mother, because that's all children do, is learn what they live, that health begins at home. Health begins at home. And the home is the heart of the home is what we call the hearth. The hearth. And also, you know that the hearth is where the fire is. The fire is the passion in our life. It's where digestion takes place, where we take in all the information and we process it. Well, what's happening now, and it's been happening for close to 50 years, because it started when I was a young girl, is this removal of the goddess from the home, from the hearth, from the kitchen, and this externally focus on everything that's out there is supposed to make me happy. We know that happiness is an inside job. We also know that if we're not happy at home, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And so whose responsibility is it to make you happy? Whose responsibility is it to make you healthy? Those are two very important questions. And we must find the answers for ourselves. I do, I'm an ordained minister, and I do a lot of weddings. And in my pre-wedding chit-chat with the couples that I'm getting ready to officiate for, I always ask them, each person in the relationship who's about to make this commitment, to make sure that they assume responsibility for their own buoyant health and happiness. It's not our partner's job. It's not our husbands or our wives or our bosses or our best friends or our children's job to make us happy. If we're not happy, if we're not pursuing our own happiness, we cannot attain or maintain a higher level of health, really, really. In my story, as some of you know, I've been in recovery for 17 years now from alcohol. And, the The way my brain works is different than a lot of you. Each of us is unique in how we process information or process the things that occur to us, that have happened to us. And one of the greatest gifts that we give ourselves is to step back, reflect, and begin to become the witness to our life. No longer attached to the emotional horror that we may have witnessed. And there are many ways to do that. And if you've coached with me, you know, some days we're like, oh my gosh, we've got to do the now treatment, EFT. We're doing, extreme full body awareness. We are, hydrating, nourishing ourselves. These are all cues and tools that begin to or continue to shift us towards this amazing state of well-being, peace of mind, well-being in mind, body, and being, just being here, present in our own life. So this process of witnessing what we're stuffing ourselves with, we're the fattest, undernourished nation ever. We're all starving for something, sex, drugs, rock and roll, Cheetos. Yeah. But what happens is, as we mature and blossom, where's my tea? As we mature and blossom, as my chiropractor used to say, we begin to reap what we have sown. Many people have said that, of course. But we forget the importance of this continual clearing of the body, the mindscape, which clears the bodyscape, which allows us to be here now, present for our life, loving our life, and living our life healthy and happy, creating a home that supports us and nourishes us, living with people who support us and nourish us, whom we can support and nourish as well. Now, during the holidays, we were talking about removing ourselves from that technology and really enjoying being fully present with the peeps in our life, right? We had so much fun. We really had a good time. So, excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat. Hello, little frog. This series that I've created for us is all about restructuring our connections to ourselves, to our God, to however we language it, to people in our lives, and to food. Food is medicine. Medicine is food. Let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food, is what Hippocrates, who was the father of medicine, I know that he's no longer really spoken about, that food is medicine. Food is a way of buoying our health or destroying our health. And if you look out on the earth plane today, you see a lot of products being pushed that are destroying our health. Now, I'm not going to go into those here and now. Today, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about, what we've been talking about. This reconnection to the self, to the hearth. I got to show you a little pack. Who's the sweetest boy? He loves his little baby monkey. He got a little baby monkey for the holidays. To reconnect to the self, to journey within. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're living in a toxic environment, if you're slathering toxins all over your body, if you're ingesting toxins, you're not going to be able to do this. You just won't. So that's why we're on the 21 days of letting go of all the crap. We started with read your ingredients. If you looked in my pantry, You know, there's very few things that have many ingredients in them. No MSG, no genetic modification as much as I know. No artificial anything, because those colorings, all of those things affect us. Now, you and I are adults, and our body is always moving towards balance. As children, though, little children are so pure and so innocent and so easily influenced by what they're witnessing in their homes. Are you creating a powerful woman? Are you creating a peaceful home? Little children are so sensitive to what they're witnessing in their homes, whether it's spoken or unspoken. Children, they still have the gift of really knowingness. And what are you feeding? What are you feeding your kids? I'm horrified, no judgment. I'm horrified when I go through the grocery store and I look at these beautiful young children and I see what's in the cart. I see how their mothers are going to nourish them with sugar, wheat, corn sugar, high fructose corn syrup, additives, dyes, food colorings, toxic chemicals, and very little live whole food. One of the greatest ways that we can begin to incorporate live food in the mornings, during our day, is with the super smoothie. You've seen a lot of those recipes, and there's more coming, but we want to, especially for children. I can remember this was an easy way that my mother, back when I was coming up, we had something called an orange Julius. And it was orange juice in the morning with an egg in it, a raw egg. And, of course, that was before the whole salmonella scare and blah, blah, blah. But it was a super way of getting some protein and, getting some juice. Orange juice now is not what it was back then. My mother used to squeeze our orange juice, put a banana in it, crack the egg, we drink it down, and away we go. Of course, she used to make us stand in line and force feed us the wheat germ and probably castor oil, although I don't really remember castor oil. I probably blocked that out. But she was smart. She was wise. She knew. Now I want you to remember. I want you to continue nourishing and nurturing yourself. Nourishing and nurturing yourself. We're stepping away from that. No judgment. Okay? Not going to beat ourselves up about, all the whatever it was that we used to love to stuff our faces with or stuff our lives with, all the crap. We're letting this go. We're letting go. We're letting go, letting go, letting go, so that we can open up to a new way of being healthy and happy in our life. To pursue this happiness, to have a passion for food, for real nourishment, real food. A lot of times when company comes, I'm in the kitchen the majority of the time. That's where I like to be, because that's how I share my love with people. I love to cook for people, and all the people who've done my workshops, I'm always creating something in the mornings, and our workshops, we're always, first thing we do is we meet and we greet and we eat, and then we get to the information at hand. And, when I do tiny weddings and that, we make sure that, the food is super high quality, really strive to move towards 51% raw, mostly vegan. And I told you my husband's a hunter. I do eat some organic meat. Now that I'm in my mid-50s, I don't crave it like I did in my 30s. And right before I went through menopause, I really began to crave meat. I didn't eat any meat for about 15 years, except for what Jeff killed. And about 6 years ago, I did start to incorporate some high-quality organic meats, because the whole system is suspect. The whole system is corrupt in a sense that the the vegetable, the dirt. Okay, we'll start. The earth upon which we stand is filled with these toxins based upon how the new farming practices are so that we can feed the masses. And then, you know, the whole animal industry, I don't even want to, we won't even go into that here now, but we want to know that where our food came from, that it had a life, that, you know, the seeds that went into the earth were not adulterated or modified, because we're coming into, it's probably been maybe 15, 20 years now that they've been doing this sneaky genetic modification. And we wonder why 1 in 3 children has cancer. Really, really. Not to mention the vaccinations. I've not checked it out yet, but I guess there's a movie called Vaxxed that is quite interesting and speaks right to that. But this is something that I've been watching and talking about for almost 30 years now, because I knew from my own intuition, from what I had learned at a young age on what nourishment is. And it's not that crap. That crap used to be a treat. You know, you would go through Burger Doodle and, you know, eat all that junk. You know, when I was coming up 40 years ago, it's not the junk that it is now. It's much worse now. And that junk has really become the mainstay of our diet. And, you know, what is it? 1 in 3 people now, 1 in 3 children now have chronic degenerative disease. So I'm talking to and for people who have health, who are vibrant, or passionate, and who want to continue to feel better and better as we mature. No reason why we should deteriorate at the rate in which we are. All of us are going to die, okay? We want to live well so we can die well. So anyhow, how's that for a happy note? So I have this amazing plethora of fruits and veg. I'm going to start my cooking process today, and I'm going to bring you along for some of it. I'll just give you pictures of others. If you're looking for recipes here, look elsewhere. I'm doing meal suggestions. Because of the way my mind works, the intuitive introvert that I am, with, you know, probably whatever it is that my brain does, I don't really follow directions well. And I like to look at the pictures in cookbooks, but I don't really follow along. So this is the intuitive chef in the Mystic's Kitchen who is looking at what I have, which is kind of the way that we used to do it 1,000 years ago. We cooked, we ate what we had, what we had gathered for that day. And I'll be gathering around my kitchen today. I think if you're along, you know that we're doing the bone broth, okay? All right, I have got an organic chicken. And so I'm going to be making from that bone broth, the first cooking of the bone broth, my coconut curry soup, chicken coconut curry soup. If you're vegan, do a veggie broth, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. And then the second cooking of the broth is going to be, I'm doing dog food this week too, so I'll be talking to you about that. But the importance of this bone broth for the minerals, first of all, it honors the whole animal, okay? If I buy a chicken, I buy a whole chicken, usually roasted in the oven at first, which is about 350 degrees. Get the oven hot, get your chicken ready. I usually rub it with a little salt, or I have this wonderful little, actually a salt-free Cajun seasoning that's real nice. And I bake it for about an hour, depending on the size, so check. And then I bake it at 350, and then maybe bump it up at the last minute to get the skin good and brown, because we like to eat the skin here. You know, we're not shunning fat in this place, okay? We're moving away from wheat and corn, okay? We're moving more towards full on eat it as it comes, okay? So light cooking or raw, all right? And if we're going to incorporate some meat, we want to eat as much of that. Now, when we make a bone broth, the breaking down of the bones, the releasing of the minerals becomes this amazing energy strengthener for us if we choose meat, if we're going to choose to eat some high quality meat. And then the same with the fat of the animal that has been shunned for so long. We're going to be incorporating some of that as well, because good fat is good. And what did we do? We gave up fat, and everybody got fat, didn't they? So I'm going to just take a look over here, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this quite yet. We're going to talk about several different things. So kind of the way it's going to go, this is for me too, is we're going to start with the morning juicing, right? Juicing and smoothies, a great way to incorporate. Take one with you, midday, great way to incorporate some raw food. And then we're going to talk about bottoms and toppers. So I want to play with that because a lot of us are letting go of all the grains as well. So the grains, most of the grains that we're going to be working with in this teaching as bottoms, as things to support our wonderful melange of veg or good meat that we're going to choose. I'm going to talk to you about like the ancient grains, things you may not have heard of, not the common grains. And not every day. We're going to make a khichdi for us, which is an Ayurvedic melange of ancient grains that we can use for stir fries or in soups. Kind of a fun little, very nourishing, very healing food. And then we're going to talk about the toppers. So the toppers would be, the base might be spinach, the top might be almonds and raisins, and beautiful, I have some beautiful tomatoes today, blueberries, all of those things. I like to combine my salads. I'm going to make us a warm Caesar salad at some point, remind me, and show you how to cook those romaines. You're not going out in the blizzard, are you? Oh my goodness, he's such a tiny boy. So I'm going to put us on pause right now, and then I'm going to leap into this, and I'm going to be sharing this with all my tribe, and thanks for coming along. Namaste. Okay, so we're back, and this is my messier side of the kitchen. I talk to a lot of women, and they don't like to cook because they don't like to clean up. So, that's really a shame, and I'm stunned at times when I see everybody eating off of paper plates, and because we're so busy, or we're so into saving time so that we can enjoy our life, that we're not willing to joyfully bang out our dishes of a wonderful meal that we cooked, or to eat off of a real fork or spoon. It's amazing to me that we spend thousands of dollars and to like drill and produce these, plastic pieces of paper and silverware just to chuck them into the environment. I'm really shocked. So if people are wanting to, you want to improve the environment, get the toxins out of your mind, your heart, your home, your hearth, and everybody will benefit. So let's talk about the bone broth that I told you about. So I cooked that chicken in the broth, and I made this amazing, nourishing, very healing broth. And I put a lot of turmeric in it and ginger, because both turmeric and ginger are anti-inflammatory. And one of the reasons why we have so many health challenges is because we're inflamed. Not only are we inflamed in our mind, which then correlates to inflammation within the body, which correlates to being out of balance, which correlates us to maybe stuff ourselves with crap and shit that's no good for us. So I had cooked this chicken yesterday. Let me just sample. Small spoon, huh? Oh my God. And today I just threw in all the bones and let it go for, oh my God, almost 7 hours. I'm still gonna let this cook down some more. And then I'm gonna turn this into my wonderful coconut curried soup. So if you're vegan and you wanna make a delicious, healing, nutritious broth, it's great to do with anything you have. You would cut up your celery, carrot, onion, good base. Maybe throw some garlic in there and a bay leaf or 10, some ginger, some turmeric like I did, and let it cook so that originally that pan was almost full and now it is cooked down to less than half. So you know that you're getting all of that good, wonderful nourishment. Now, I'm going to keep and use the veg that I cooked my broth in. I'll have to strain them out and then chop them and then put them back in with my coconut curry, which I'm going to use the coconut cream. But you could also use just coconut milk. And so I'm just going to pour that in. I'm not going to put any grains in this. It's going to have the chicken, some onion, the carrots, the celery. And then I like to add seeds and nuts. So I'm going to add some pumpkin seeds, some raw pumpkin seeds, live raw pumpkin seeds, and raisins. Raisins are a great addition to everything. Okay, and this can of the coconut cream, mix it all up, ladle it into a bowl, and do a little lime squeeze at the end. Now, if you wanted, you could add your grains, your rice, your tempeh, your rice or teff or quinoa. You want to make sure that they're as organic as you can get. And I did put a little pink sea salt in there, and so that was nice. Kind of heavily salt the chicken as it went in. That kind of leaches the minerals out of the bones. For your vegan broth, same thing. A good teaspoon of salt, and then, of course, maybe before you eat it, a little additional flavoring might be necessary. This is my turmeric. Okay. And my cayenne is similar, but those are the only things that I really season this with, other than a little pink Himalayan sea salt. So good, there we go. Now you could serve this then with a beautiful salad. Again, on salads, I like to add seeds and nuts. I buy sunflower seeds by the case, raisins, cranberries, all of those things, apples. I like to put all of those on top of a salad. And I'll be taking some pictures for you. Now, today, I'm a little concerned because I have all of these tomatoes I need to use. So I don't want them to go bad. We had some spectacular tomatoes last week in our CSA box. Look at that. I need a pair of glasses. But this week there were a couple of different kinds that came. So I'm going to make a wonderful it's a little late in the season. But next, I'm going to take these whole tomatoes. I'm going to wash them really good. I'm going to rough chop them. And I'm going to put those into my Instant Pot with onion, celery, garlic, and some Italian seasoning, wherever that is. Oh, right there. And then that's going to go over, I'm going to do a vegan lasagna with some butternut squash, and I have a couple of zucchini that I'm going to use. One's going to be for zucchini muffins. The other one's going to be part of our vegan squash. Now, if you wanted to go raw with this, you would rough chop everything, okay, like this, and, you know, a little bit of salt, still your seasonings, blend, 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 blend in your Vitamix. And then if you had a spiruli, which is one of those little spirally things that makes raw pasta out of zucchini, that would be a great way to go 100% raw with this sauce. But it's cold, it's blustery, it's wintertime. In the summertime, this would have been gazpacho, okay? But you saw what the weather looks like outside, so it's going to be this, either this vegan lasagna, or it's going to be a wonderful minestrone. I'll let you know. Now, that's the other thing in the Mystic's Kitchen here that, you know, we're playing with all of this. And so if one thing doesn't work out, repurpose, try something else. So flexibility is the key, and to trust your intuition. In the one video, which may or may not have been uploaded yet. So what I want to make sure that I do is I showed you my pantry, which had some of the basics. I showed you my fridge, which has some of my staples in it. And then I wanted to talk to you about some of the tools that I use. But I'm going to go ahead and clean up this little mess here. And hello. Somebody says, I would love some chicken, please. So let's give little boy a little bite of chicken, because he's the sweetest. Isn't he cute? Anyhow, that's all for now. It's a lot. It's a lot. But this restoring harmony to the hearth and home is so important, so important. And it should be fun. As the goddess in the kitchen, we want to have fun. So get your Mystic Kitchen ready. Let's get busy.